You're listening to 101 with Tommie Zam. In episode 73, I sit down with RxHx to talk about music and life. Let's do this. Hey, what's up, RX? How you doing?
Hey man, I'm good. How about you, Tommy? What's going on?
Not much, man. It's just a little bit nice and warm in San Diego. A little too warm for me right now.
Has to be, right? Yeah. Yeah.
So where are you at?
I'm up in Vancouver.
Oh, okay. What's the weather like up there?
Right now it's really nice, man. Usually it's raining, but today was beautiful. Absolutely
Man,
beautiful. Yeah.
I don't even know what rain looks like.
I could tell you all about it.
Well, if I go back to Florida, then I'll deal with my rain down there.
Oh yeah, right, man. Hey, you're from Florida. I'm
Yeah.
yeah. I was in Tallahassee for a while. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm from
yeah,
Pensacola.
Pensacola. Shit, man. Cool. Yeah,
That's like we could throw rocks at each other if we want to. That's how close we are.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So, is that where you're originally from? Is from Panhandle or what?
I grew up kind of all over. I spent a lot of time in foster homes, so grew up all over the U.S. Spent a lot of time um, in Montana. Um, I ended up in Florida when I was about 18, I guess. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
How'd you like good old Tallahassee?
it was nice. you know, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a lot of good music that came out of there too. Lot of I used to go to a lot of shows out in Tallahassee. There was a lot of good
Right.
shows out there and everything.
Yeah, man. I saw a lot of great bands there. Yeah, I did.
And what were some of the bands that you remember that you've seen?
Oh God. You 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 know um my grip on the past is pretty fragile.
Oh, okay,
so
it's all good. It's all good.
I, there's just a lot I don't really have clear recollections of. So yeah, sorry, man.
Oh, you're all good, brother. It's all good. And
All
then,
right.
and so how did you get into music? What got you into music?
Y- You know, I was in Montana as a kid, and one thing I used to love to do was fire guns at stop signs, and just because there wasn't a lot else to do, man. And I really loved the sound of shooting a gun at a stop sign, and and how that rang out. So
Mhm,
I began to um, to think about music and how it's all around us
mhm,
and in kind of everything we do. So that's kind of where that started, and from there, I was in this foster home, I think in Jersey, and one of the kids I was in there with introduced me to the Ramones and showed me how to play Ramones songs on piano. So
mhm.
so it started there.
Do you remember what song?
I Want to Be Sedated, I think, was the first song I ever learned how to play on piano.
That's a good song, by the way.
Right? Yeah, great song. Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
excellent song to play on a piano. I mean, that's takes a lot of talent to do that.
Well, it's just like three chords, so it's not that hard. But
So that's pretty cool. So I mean, so being in a foster of being a foster family and, traveling around and stuff like that, so that's where you picked up a lot of different types of music and stuff like that, correct?
Sure, totally is. Yeah, absolutely.
And then, what was you more into, like, when you were jamming out to music? Like, were you more into, like, classic rock or, old hair bands, like Kiss and stuff like that, or what?
Well, I think I kind of grew up on stuff like Black Flag, the Germs, you know,
Mhm.
um, punk bands, a lot of um, kind of skater bands, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Sick.
yeah.
Were you a skateboarder?
I wasn't, but I hung out with a lot of skaters.
Oh, sick, yeah. Because I mean, because you gotta think, like, all types of music, like punk and hip hop and all
Sure.
that
Yeah.
goes with
Yeah.
with the skate scene because you gotta think,
Mhm.
like, skaters are basically like punk rock, if you think about
Yeah.
it,
I know. Yeah.
we're very, very anti this, anti that, and hey, you know what? We're gonna skate whatever the heck we want to do, and that's how punk rock was back in the. I mean, I don't know what punk rock is now. Is a little bit different, but
Yeah.
when
The other
we're
man.
growing, yeah,
Yeah.
when we're growing up, punk rock was like, you know, not grunge and not grunge, but like very like anti everything,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And I appreciated that. You know.
Who'd you look up to for music wise?
you know. That's a good question. Um.
Or who influenced you? Like, you always wanna pop in that cassette tape and jam out every time you're cruising down the street or whatever, you know?
You know. Um. It's hard to say back then.
Mhm.
These days, I'm into like weird electronic stuff now.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, the kind of stuff like there's a guy called the Nate No Face.
Mhm.
Heard heard of him? He's from Arizona, I think. I think he lives in LA now. He's this kind of um he's Hispanic and he's kind of punk but also electronic and he's cool. I'm into guys like I was just introduced to this group from England, I think, called Black Dog, who are
Okay.
pretty great. I really like the bands from kind of the 2010s, like Salem and
Okay.
O and stuff. Yeah, yeah. So
So
that's
so
kind
so
of
it's kinda like Nine Inch Nails, kind of.
it's it's not as poppy, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That's very cool. And
yeah.
so you had a lot of different types of music you went through, so you different phases,
Sure.
I don't want to say phases, but you went through different things. So I mean,
Yeah.
did you have like a bands and stuff like that? Were you in bands and everything before you moved
You
over
know,
to electronics?
yeah. I was in this band called Young Youth, and we were kind of a noise band more than anything else. But we toured a lot. Um, we played in San Diego a couple times at a place called the Casbah.
Yeah, I know Casbah. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
And
yeah.
what were you the singer? What kind of instrument did you play or what?
I sang for Young Youth. Yeah,
Oh, sick, dude.
yeah, yeah.
That's pretty rad. And then for your lyrics to write your lyrics, how did you write your lyrics? Did you, like, sit down and think about it or what?
Y- You know, writing for me has really evolved over time. When I started out, I didn't really take too much care with what I wrote. Um, I just wanted to make as much noise as possible, and
Mhm.
what I was saying really didn't have as much importance as it does now. Um, but that changed. I mean, over time, I I don't know, man. I feel like what what I presented on stage had to be more authentic
Mhm.
and and not how do I explain this?
Oh, take your time, man. You're doing a good job.
Yeah, yeah. So I feel like when I'm on stage now, I want to present a true version of who I am and what I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
Back then, I really just it didn't matter as much, you know.
You're just like, you're just like, "Fuck it, I don't give a fuck, dude. Fuck this
Exactly. Yeah.
shit."
Totally. Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
you're like, "I'm going on tour, I don't give a shit." That kinda way, it's kinda like what I said, like punk rock. You're that punk rock
Exactly.
phase. You're just
Yeah.
like, "You know what, dude? I don't even care. Let's just jam out and party later and hook up
And
with this
fuck
chick
shit up.
later," whatever, you know?
Let's just fuck shit up, Tommy. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, that's what it was back in the days, you know what I mean? The '90s and
Mm,
stuff like that, you know?
sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And did you stick along with that band, or did you kinda, like, went your own way and started something different, or what, or did you
That
just
band
travel?
that band kind of just imploded. Um, I was like drinking way too much and doing way too many drugs, and so I quit doing all that,
Mhm.
and
Congratulations, by the way.
that's that.
I said congratulations, by the way.
Oh yeah, man. Thank you. Yeah, so I had to just try something new,
Mhm,
you know, and I tried out a bunch of spiritual paths, trying out different stuff, and I I I wasn't sure how to create music that
mhm,
I wanted to create that would feel correct to
mhm.
me, So
Yeah.
what I got into was generating pink noise, and I don't know if you know what pink noise is.
I was about to ask you that. What is pink noise?
So pink noise is as opposed to white noise that has all frequencies. Uh, Pink noise has a specific um, blend of frequencies that's found actually a lot in nature, right?
Mhm.
And so I created these pink noise generators, and
Really?
yeah, so this is kind of off topic, but so what pink noise generators are used for now are actually restructuring brain waves and shit. Crazy fucking shit, man. So
Dude, that's crazy.
it's fucking wild. Yeah. So so I was kind of using these pink noise generators to heal my trauma,
Yeah.
and I think it helped, but
I can it seemed like it helped me. I can tell it might have helped you.
okay, sweet, man, cool. So what eventually happened and what led me up here to Canada was I hooked up with this group in Taos, New Mexico.
Mhm.
Later finding out kind of a cult, and they hired me to make these generators for them, right? So I was there for about a year, and I said, "Fuck this cult shit." So I bounced, and I I I got contacted by this company in Canada,
Uh-huh.
and they wanted to um, to bring me up to to work on their stuff up here,
Mhm.
helping them create these generators, right? So
Mhm.
that's how I ended up here here, and then COVID hit, and I
Yeah.
haven't gone back to the US yet, right? So
Hey, in my opinion, just stay in Vancouver. I heard it's beautiful there.
it is, man. Totally beautiful spot. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's crazy. So you were not crazy, but I mean that's just for you crazy that you went on this crazy adventure,
Yeah.
and
It's
then
bomb.
and then got hooked up with some crazy cult to wanting to make some
Yes.
pink noise generator, and they're like,
It's so
"We love
generated.
you, we want you," you know?
It was weird. It was a wild fucking scene. Yeah. Yeah.
How did you get in the mix of that? Okay, sorry if I asked that. Like, how you got in the
What's that?
mix of that?
I was in New Mexico, in Taos, and you know, there were just some weird ass people in New Mexico, and I kind of got roped in, and yeah, that's just what happened, man.
I mean, I kind of agree with you on the weird people in New Mexico because I had a situation in New Mexico when I was driving across country
Oh yeah,
and and I had my tire blown out and
right.
right there on the I-10 right there in middle of
Yeah,
nowhere, New Mexico, and all
I
of a
know the
sudden
spot.
yeah, and all of a sudden this truck pulls up and
Uh-huh.
he was like one of those like supposedly triple A people. He was like,
Right.
"Oh, cop drove by and called me," and I'm thinking, "Yeah, right, dude." He's like, "Oh, well, the next town is probably like a good 30 minutes away," and blah 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 blah. And I was like, "Oh, dude," and he was like, "Well, how about you stay at my place?" I'm like, "Oh, dude." This is a horror movie right here. You know what I mean? But
Man,
he ended up being he ended up being a cool dude, you know what I mean? He
oh,
lived in a
that's
little trailer
good.
park, I
Sweet.
think it was the number 1 top, drug place, whatever. He still was telling me, he said, "Oh, yeah, we're in cops." And I was
Oh
like,
shit,
"Cool."
really?
Yeah, I was like, "Cool, man," you know?
Dude, that's wild. Damn.
But, yeah, but I agree with you. There is some weird people in New Mexico, man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and yeah. So I ended up in Vancouver. You know? Yeah.
That's crazy. And are you still making pink noises?
No, no. So uh, that contract ended,
Okay.
and I bought a synthesizer, and then I bought another synthesizer. Then I bought another synthesizer and just started messing around with synths, man. And it's a complete obsession now.
That's cool, man. So
Yeah,
do you feel like, if you look back into your previous life to now,
yeah.
do you feel like music has helped you out a lot, or do you think it kinda, like,
Oh,
puts you in weird
absolutely.
situations?
No, man. I feel like music is a spiritual thing, right? It's
Mhm.
like it's it has such tremendous power. And yeah, no, it's helped me throughout my life. Absolutely.
Not really. And like whenever you feel down or whatever, you go right to music, and that kind of gives you like an upbeat. Or do you sometimes have to, when you get to playing guitar or doing what DJing or whatever, do you feel like that kind of like relaxes you?
It can go either way. You know, when I perform, I feel quite heightened. Um, um, I feel connected to something greater than myself.
Mhm.
I feel like feel like feel like frequencies and sound um, connect me to a greater power, if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So I mean, so do you feel like like how did you? So you basically, what I'm trying to figure out what picture is so you're
Yeah.
now more of a DJ kind of, or is it
No.
more like
No.
I'm trying to picture everything.
I write songs um, using electronic instruments. So
Oh, sick.
synthesizers,
Okay.
right? Yeah. 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 So that's what I do.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And so
Yeah.
how do you get into that?
Um, I bought one synth
Uh-huh.
and just fell in love with just creating sounds through electricity.
Okay.
Just such a wild concept, right?
Right?
And it goes back to kind of the whole the generators that I was making
Mhm.
um, are kind of an electronic instrument, right? So a synthesizer just has the power to create way more sounds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So now that's pretty much all I do is just write on synths these days.
Okay. And so what you do, you write out lyrics and then you use the sympathizer to have your voice go through it? Is that what I that's how I get it?
No, so like um li- like keyboards.
Oh, keyboards. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, cool,
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
pretty awesome. And so that's how you did so that's where you moved to the new thing now. So you're more into
Mhm.
more electronics and more synth and you know
Exactly.
and
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you're kind of like, I already did the punk rock stage and I did all that, lived that lifestyle, and
Mhm. Yeah.
now I want to do a whole different lifestyle to represents me.
Exactly. Yeah. It feels more true to what I want to create now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And what do you want to? What was your idea of creating? What do you want to create?
That's an excellent question.
See, look at
What
that!
could
Look at that, Rex. I'm hitting with some good questions now.
shit. Yeah, that's a good one. I want to create songs that um, kind of express where I am spiritually, but
Hmm.
you know, um, so I had this spiritual practice, and this is kind of going off topic. I'll try and bring it around
Oh, you're
to
good, dude. You can talk
what I
whatever you
want
want to talk about.
to create again. But So I had this spiritual practice, and I kind of created it myself. Um, but so I believe in this a higher power, and this higher power is a god of light and death,
Okay.
right? So two opposing forces. And what I want to create are songs that bring those two opposing forces together. So light and death.
Okay.
Um, you know, our mortality, the fact that we're all going to die, that's what drives every single one of us,
Hmm.
because we're all going to die. So we all want to try and live as much as we possibly can, right?
Right.
And to integrate the light of being alive with the infinite darkness of death, that's what I want to try and create, Tommy. Who
Dude,
knows if it's
that's
possible,
pretty rad, dude.
but that's what I'm fucking going for, right?
Dude, that's pretty rad. And so, can I ask, like, how are you gonna do that?
I have no idea. Just experimentation, you know, just experimentation.
Hey, I think it's pretty rad. I mean, I do understand what you mean by about high beings, and there's things up there that's higher than us that we don't know, and I totally 100% agree with
Absolutely.
you on that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't really say too much what I have seen in my life, but I mean, I do have to agree with you on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. So that's pretty cool. So you're gonna bring light and death together
Yeah.
and try to make it where it makes sense to the human ear.
Dude, you nailed it. Nice job. Very concise. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's pretty cool. And so that's where I'm gonna come. My next question is: so you doing Star FKD? Is that the first example of the light and death?
Yeah. So star fucked, right? Yeah,
Oh, okay.
right?
I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I just know that FKD because there was bearings called FKD, but it's star fucked. Okay.
Star fucked, right? And so what star fucked is kind of about is the fact that, yeah, we're all fucked. We're all gonna die, right?
Hmm.
And how we kind of come to terms with that is how we navigate through life, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So star fucked is kind of my first attempt at creating something um, that's um, along that vein. Yeah.
So it's like more like raw poetic kind of style.
Yeah. Yeah. And star fucked um, felt like a good first song to throw out there.
Hmm.
Um, I have so many friggin' songs now. So
How many songs do you have?
oh god, you know,
Too many to count on the fingers, right?
yeah, yeah, over 40, under 80, so somewhere in there.
Wow. And you wrote all those, or did you make all those?
These are all my songs. Yeah, yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. So can I ask you, like, what do you like sit down and write one song and then you like have like 80 more songs that in your head that pop up that you want that so basically what I'm trying to say is it a
Yeah.
story that you're doing?
It's not so much a story. Um, I mean, they have a narrative. narrative aspects to them for
Hmm.
sure. Um, what I find is the way I work is I sit down and I I play the keys and I find a certain kind of um, a mood, right?
Hmm.
That just feels right. And then from there, I add stuff in, right?
Hmm.
And it slowly starts to become something. And and as I do this, um, words kind of come into my head, and a thread starts as far as how to approach it. Almost like a poem, I suppose. Right? It has a poetic aspects,
Okay.
and stuff just starts to form.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You're a genius.
Yeah.
Just let you know that you're a genius. I mean, to
No,
do.
man. I just think I'm deeply damaged.
Nah, I think you're a genius. I mean, 'cause to think of that and to put that into your music, into your words, or into the keyboard, it's a very talented. You know,
Well, I appreciate that.
because I
Yeah.
mean, not many people can do that. You know what I mean? Like, there probably is few, but it's very rare to find people like that. You know?
Well, it's what I really love to do, you know, and right now it's kind of all I do. So,
Hey, you got all the freedom, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's awesome. And do you perform at, like, clubs or venues or anything like
yeah.
that?
So, I've started to, yeah. I did my first show in April, I believe,
Okay,
and I'm doing a show end of June and one in August, and stuff's starting to kind of gain traction. Yeah.
good, good. And so let's go back to your first show you did. So what was that like? I mean, what was do were you like the headliner or were you like
No, so this was kind of a trial show, right? I had to try this out. So I hopped on a bill um with a friend of mine who was headlining, and I hopped on his bill, and it went really well. Um, I was actually really surprised. I felt really connected to the crowd,
Mhm.
and it just felt right. So so after that, I thought, yeah, well, maybe I'll do this again. Yeah, yeah.
And what was the crowd's reaction when you went up there and started playing?
You know, at first, I think they weren't quite sure what to make of me, but the reaction was really positive, and I, I was extremely happy about how how well it went.
Dude, that's awesome. Congratulations,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, stepping out to the world to show them your new music, you
Right.
know, and that's nerve-wracking because you don't know what the reaction's gonna be. Are they gonna love it? They're gonna hate it? Are they gonna throw tomatoes at me? Or are they gonna give me praise?
Honestly,
So
Yeah.
You
No.
what?
I was kind of terrified just because with with all of my former bands, I had a band, right? Here
Hmm.
it's just me. It's only me on stage
Yeah.
and me and keyboards. And
Oh,
I was like, fuck, I feel extremely fucking exposed. This is crazy. But I just kind of connected with the audience,
hmm,
and I felt just totally in the zone and at ease, and it was just such a beautiful experience.
that's awesome. And did you like close your eyes and just say, "Fuck it, we're just gonna do it"?
No, I made eye contact with the audience.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
And do you think by having a being in bands and stuff that it kind of helped you out a little bit since you're doing a solo, like I don't want to say solo, but you're doing your own gig?
hmm yeah. I think having that experience, I know how to how to um, how to connect with an audience and how to bring them in.
Hmm.
You know, yeah,
That's pretty awesome. I mean, that to me, that's very talented. I mean, I don't know if I could ever do that. Being a band or be a DJ. I mean, I thought about it, but I'm just like, what happens if I suck?
um, um, you have a podcast, man. I mean, shit.
Well, see, I mean, I have a podcast and a talk show, so I mean, I have two things. So I mean, it's don't get me wrong, it is nerve wracking, but I mean, but
It has to be, right?
it does, it does. The talk show definitely does because I got cameras on me, you know what I mean. So they got cameras all on me, so I got to be like very like I
Right,
gotta say that I got three names I got to remember. I got to make sure I say the names correctly. You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah,
And with this, what we're doing, it's so easy. It's just audio.
yeah. Right. Sweet. Nice.
But no, but you're right. What you're trying to say. I mean, what I'm doing, what you're doing, it,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
it's all entertainment. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So I'm gonna go back a little bit. So
Sure.
when you first started your, first time you did had a punk
Mhm.
band,
Yeah.
were you nervous when you first time did it?
I was hammered.
So that was your root rule, is like get hammered before the show, so that way you don't remember anything, right?
Just get fucked up, man.
Well,
It was
there
a
you go.
mess. It was a mess. A
Yeah,
total
man.
fucking mess. But hey, whatever.
But you gotta think about it. Look what it made you be. You know what I mean? Look who you are
Yeah.
now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? A very talented, person. You got your head straight. You went through a lot in your life.
Mhm.
And stuff like that. I mean, you're very a very talented, genius person.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, think I think we all have a past, you know,
Hmm.
and it's how we kind of emerge from that past that matters, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
No, you're right.
yeah.
Hello. Oh, I thought I lost you there.
Nope, nope, still here.
And did you ever thought about writing a book about your life? A novel or anything?
you know, writing's too hard. It's really hard. um, and it just takes up a lot of time, and I just don't have the time right now.
Mhm.
I'm totally immersed in RxHx. So maybe in the future, but I don't really have plans to, man.
Yeah. Well, I'll just thought maybe, 'cause, a lot of people would be interested in your life story, what you've been through and went through and might inspire people, but also too your music is actually what I was about to say too, is your music is actually your novel because you're actually in a way telling your story through your music.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And do you have any albums that you're working on that you're trying to drop or anything?
Yeah. So um I do have an album. It's pretty much good to go. I have to tweak a bunch of stuff. Um, I'm thinking maybe around Christmas, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is gonna
I'll,
be this gonna be your first album?
yeah,
Are you
yeah.
excited or what?
Um,
Or
I'm
nervous?
excited, nervous. I just want it to be good. I just want it to sound like I want it to sound,
Mhm.
and I still have a ways to get there. So um, it's close. It's still not exactly what I want it to sound like. So,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so do you think it's harder to do an album than a single?
The single is going to be on the actual album.
Okay.
So it's going to be on there. I'll probably release another single in the fall
Okay.
just to follow this up, and then release the album around Christmas.
Around Christmas, okay.
Yeah.
And what the question I was gonna ask you is do you feel doing a album is way harder than doing a single?
Well, all an album is just a collection of singles,
True,
So
true.
right, but um, to um, to create a vibe though with an album and have the whole album just have a certain atmosphere. That's what takes time,
Mm.
and
Because you gotta make sure everything because you gotta make sure everything is perfect, the songs go with the, album and stuff like that, is that
exactly,
what
yeah, precisely, yeah.
that's great. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of stuff to do. I mean, I always wonder how musicians did albums because, I mean, it's a lot of work, because you gotta
It
make
is a
sure
lot of work.
you
It's
you
nice.
you gotta make sure it sounds good, it goes with the flow, is it gonna hit
Right. Yeah.
people or, and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
where do you see your music in 5 years?
5 years, man. Shit. That's so
So
far
let's say
away.
3 years. We'll say 3 years. We'll knock it down to 3 years.
You know, um, I I kind of live so much in today.
Mhm.
I have a really hard, hard, hard time trying to um to see where I'll be tomorrow. You know.
True. That's definitely true. That's definitely true.
Yeah. Yeah. 3 years from now, where I would maybe want to be,
Yeah.
um, um, is is to have huh, yeah, it's hard to think about the future, man.
No, it definitely is. I mean, but do you wanna see your like what's the idea of where you want your music to be? Do you want it to be more mainstream or stay more underground or
Hmm. I think the nature of the music I make, it's not ever going to be mainstream.
that's a good thing?
You know? Yeah. Um, no, no radio stations are gonna play a song like "Star Fucked," from the title alone. It's not getting on the radio. So,
So
but
real quick, you said this phase in this, and you said this quote in your song, through my birth, as far as I'm concerned, is uncertain. He writes, "My future death is indisputable fact." What does that mean?
um,
Indisputable.
uh,
Sorry, indisputable fact. I mean,
indisputable. Yeah.
yeah.
So that just means I know I'm gonna die, right?
Hmm.
I don't remember when I was born, um, but I know I'm gonna die. So that's kind of why I create stuff, is to kind of celebrate the fact that, yeah, man, I am alive right now, right?
Hmm. That's pretty
Yeah.
good.
If
I
I can
mean,
jump in here for a second, sorry to intrude.
no, no,
This
no.
is
Go ahead.
this is one of the aspects that I've been working with RX on a lot. Um, it's why he's so focused on the present and being in the moment and having a difficulty to explain where the music's going to be in 3 years. It's all tied to that primal fear of mortality. And
Mhm.
sorry to intrude. I just that's
Oh no,
something
no, no, no. You're not intruding. You're good.
it's a little bit of a trigger area, and I have to say, RX has done a fantastic job on his personal work in this area. But anyway, sorry to intrude.
No,
Yeah,
no, you did good. No, 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 you did good. And actually, I agree with you. By I can tell by his voice and the way he's talking, and he feels very more confident in
Mm,
himself.
yeah. Yeah. No. The work I've done with Sandy here has been really, really helpful. Yeah. 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 He's great.
That's good. And Sandy is helps you out a lot with you with personally and gets your
Yeah.
mindset correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome
Yeah.
to have somebody like that in your life to help you to get through,
Yeah.
things going on in your past, present, and future.
Totally. Totally. Yeah.
That's definitely awesome. And then a couple more questions before we take off.
Sure.
Where can people find your music at?
Um, all streaming platforms.
Okay.
Um, I'm on YouTube, Spotify, Bandcamp. Um, on YouTube, actually, I've been making these kind of short um, videos of of um, of these kind of kind of experimental
Hmm.
pieces that I've been messing around with. So yeah,
And where can people find you on what's your YouTube name that they can find you?
um, RxHx.
So you hear that, guys? RxHx. Check them out
Yep,
on YouTube.
RxHx. I believe it's R. Well, hold on, I'll just check this out here. I believe it's RxHx underscore Vancouver, maybe. Yeah, yeah, RxHx Vancouver.
Sick. So you hear that, guys? Check them out. Give them some love. Show them. promote his music, let everybody know about it. You know,
That'd be
definitely,
great.
definitely, he has a lot of talent, and and I heard Starfuck, and it was actually really good. I've jammed it in my car.
Oh, thank you, Tommie, man. Sweet.
I
Nice.
definitely do. And then I know you say you got a couple shows coming up. Do you have
I
any, and
do.
you say you got an album dropping, you're planning to drop in Christmas. Do you have
Yeah.
anything else you're working on?
Not really, man. This is kind of occupying all my time right now. So yeah, yeah,
Okay. Good. So check out his shows. If you don't know where he's going to perform, follow him on Instagram at RxHx.
yeah,
You can find him, follow him on Instagram. He'll post all his where his shows at, flyers, all that good stuff at. Um,
absolutely.
Follow him, share him, show the whole world who he is, and yeah, definitely go get Starfucked on your platform for jamming out in your car, piss off your mom and dad by playing in the house, whatever, dude. Just be
Perfect.
punk rock, all right. And the last
Love
question
it,
of
man.
all.
Yeah.
So, what can you say to the upcoming musicians that listen to this and want to be where you're at in life? What can you say to them?
You know, don't don't listen to anyone who tells you um not to do what you're doing. Just create stuff. Just make what feels right. And I think I think today there's so much pressure on young musicians to to have to to um to um to throw stuff on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and there's just so much pressure, and I feel like musicians need to just focus on making music, right? Just make what you're gonna make, and then worry about the other stuff afterwards.
So you hear them, make music with your heart. Don't worry about
Yeah,
the rest of the bullshit. Don't worry about any other bullshit out there. Just focus on you. That's what he's
exactly.
saying to you guys.
Totally. Yeah, man.
And I know I said that was the last question, but a question popped up in my head. So
Yeah, go.
do you feel the music scene is better in Vancouver, or do you think it feels better in the United States and Europe?
Good question, man. I think Vancouver has a really good music scene, but Vancouver's a really isolated spot. So Vancouver feels like it's all on its own here, and that's not a bad thing. It's just not like like Chicago or Toronto or New York, where there's always people coming through. You know, um, here we're way out on on a coast. We're surrounded by a mountain range, and it feels very much on its own, which which is is isn't a bad thing. It's just it just feels like people have to work harder here.
Hmm. I see what you're saying. Is it
Yeah,
because you guys are like far away from all
from
where
everything.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And plus being in Canada, it's also harder for musicians to come to the States to perform too, correct?
right. Yeah, especially now.
Yeah. Because I know I interviewed some musicians in other parts of Canada before, and they always told me
Mhm.
it's hard for them. It's easier for them to perform in Europe than it is in the United States. And I always thought that was
Yeah,
crazy, you know.
yeah. No, it's true. Yeah,
And
yeah.
and let me ask another question too. So has Starfucked has got more viewers and listeners from Europe or United
Yes.
States?
Yeah. No, so oddly, man, Star Fucked is doing really well in Scotland,
Really? Scotland?
in England.
I can see
Um,
I can see England, but Scotland? Okay.
yeah, Scotland, yeah. Um, Brussels,
Okay.
Spain, um, Canada couldn't care less. Um, but whatever.
That's
Yeah.
good. I mean, that's
Yeah.
good that you're building a fan base in Europe, you know? I mean, because whenever you
Yeah.
go on tour in Europe, I mean, people can be like, "There he is," you know?
Yeah, man. I do want to get over there. Definitely.
That's awesome, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then is there anything else you wanna say to the viewers?
No, man. I think that's about it. God, man, we covered a lot, Tommy.
Right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
cool,
man.
RX. Well, cool, RX. Thanks for coming on, and hey,
Yeah, man.
man, I enjoy talking to you. You sound like a
Likewise.
you're to me you're a genius and
No,
what you're doing, man, and just
thank you.
keep on doing what you're doing, have fun, joy the love, and blow these people's minds with the light and death together,
That's my fucking plan. All right.
all right, homie. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and talk to you soon.
You betcha. Bye bye.